Well, as a precursor to the crossover, this episode is more of a really well done mid-season finale than it is to the crossover, but is still a really good episode either way. Guys, remember Supergirl, Season 2, Episode 8, Medusa, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode, mainly for two reasons. One, I've loved this season, but also because of the fact that, as we know, this is the precursor to the crossover tomorrow night, which I definitely am really looking forward to. This is also, surprisingly, the mid-season finale of Supergirl. I had no idea. They didn't say anything about it being a mid-season finale, but it was, in fact, the mid-season finale. I don't know why. It's kind of weird for them to do 8 episodes and not 9 episodes, but either way, this was a mid-season finale. And let me just say, as mid-season finale, this was a really great episode. I really enjoyed this episode overall. Some really great stuff going on here. But was essentially just a precursor to the crossover. They barely even talked about the crossover till the last 2 minutes. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night's crossover, what we'll get into, but let's get into this episode because there really isn't much to talk about in terms of the crossover, but there is definitely stuff to talk about in terms of the episode, which surprisingly took place around Thanksgiving, which a little late to the party there, Supergirl, but either way, we start off with Kara and her friends celebrating Thanksgiving. Kara's he visions the turkey, and James and Winter arguing with Alex over whether to tell Kara about James's secret. As we know, he is the guardian, and they're wondering, if he should be the one to tell Kara. Now, Alex saying, no, I should be the one, and Wynn shows up with stuffing from his mattress, and then immediately tries to suck up to Kara and Alex's mother, which I thought, not Wynn, it's actually Mon-El who does that. He shows up with stuffing, and immediately tries to suck up to Eliza, who is in fact back in this episode, which I like seeing Eliza again. She worked well in the last Thanksgiving episode, and I like seeing her here. And Kara starts Thanksgiving with an annual Danvers family tradition, going around the table and sharing what they're thankful for, which we remember was the exact same thing we saw in last year's Thanksgiving episode, and Alex shuts down James's attempt to come out as guardian to Kara so she can come out to her mother and friends, because she, for some reason, is worried that Eliza isn't going to accept her as much, that Eliza, because Eliza's always wanted to have this great life with a boyfriend and everything, and settle down with someone, and of course, Alex isn't that at all. She's really rediscovered who she is, but she gets interrupted by an interdimensional portal mysteriously opening up over their table, and we don't really know what that's about, but the next morning, John says they need to figure out what Cadmus's plan with Kara's blood. Kara offers to interrogate Lena using her journalism skills and sneaking to find out what she knows about her mother, but neither Wynn nor Alex are really that convinced. They don't really know if this is really going to go well for Kara, but I like that she did make an attempt to try to, get into Lena's head, because even though we've seen that Lena seems to be on the good side, at the same time, Lillian is her mother, and Kara doesn't really know where Lena stands, and she also knows that Lena will have a ton of information. She can get anything she wants out of her through, well, she thinks at least, through her reporting, which also, no Snapper in this episode, thank God. I really have not liked Snapper this season, as you know, but I thought this was a pretty good start to the episode, definitely. So actually not close with her mother and always seems to come up short in her eyes. And I believe her when she's saying this. I believe that Lena wasn't nearly as close. And after Kara leaves, Lena immediately calls her mother, says they need to talk. So right off the bat, we see that Lena isn't telling the truth here, that she is in fact much closer with her mother, and definitely makes her seem a little bit shady, definitely. And Cyborg Superman then plants a device at the unnamed alien bar that releases some sort of gas. Mon-El mistakes him for John and follows him outside because, of course, he looks very much like John, which inadvertently saves his life. And after Cyborg Superman beats up Mon-El, Mon-El runs inside to find all the aliens in the bar dead, which that was a pretty crazy scene to see. And John then places Mon-El in isolation to keep him from exposing the other aliens, because now that he knows what's going on, obviously he's going to do what he can to get Mon-El to, not leak that information. So meanwhile, Alex decides to bring in their mother in order to figure out how Cadmus released a toxin that only targets aliens, because she feels that Eliza is in fact very well, she has a lot of knowledge when it comes to science and things like that, because her mother is in fact a scientist, as we know. So she wants to know how Cadmus released toxin that only targets aliens, and Lena meets Lillian at her office and immediately asks what she's up to. Lillian plays dumb. Lena says the reporter Kara is sniffing around. So again, you don't really know if Lena and Lillian are as close as Lena says they are, or not as close, but during a game Monopoly, play with two boards since they're separated by a glass wall, Kara casually asks Mon-El if he likes her, because as we know, that conversation came up last week, and I like that very quickly he denies it. He denies it, but as we know, Kara thought that he was fessing up to Eliza to try to get closer to Kara and make a good impression. And I did like the scene how Kara's trying to tell Mon-El, how boyfriends work on Earth and things like that. Something I really liked about Mon-El all season is just seeing how different he is from other humans, because of course, he's from Daxam, he's not really a human, and seeing the way that he goes about things and seeing the way other people go about things, I really think Mon-El's add a lot to the show that I never really thought he would, and that's something that I've actually really liked about his character this season so far. But he suddenly collapses, he succumbs to whatever virus Cadmus unleashed on the bar, and Eliza stabilizes Mon-El, says the virus is Kryptonian origin, and Supergirl realizes that Cadmus must have used her blood to actually break into the Fortress of Solitude. And sure enough, when Supergirl arrives, one of Superman's robots attacks her, claiming that she had already intruded on the fortress once before, and she heat visions the robot, then used the fortress's computer to lock up Project Medusa, and it turns out that Project Medusa was a weaponized virus created by Kara's father to defend Krypton from potential invaders. No word on Jeremiah here, really. We know that Jeremiah is out there, but apparently this was created by Jeremiah to defend Krypton from potential invaders, to make sure that no one comes down. So Medusa can kill any alien, but won't affect Kryptonians. So I thought that was very interesting we found this out, and basically that's what this whole, cyborg Superman's all about. This is someone who's there to extract all the aliens and get them out of there, because obviously they don't want any aliens there, any sort of unwanted visitors that they don't want, Cyborg Superman will extract them. So Kara then explains how Project Medusa works to John and Alex, and Eliza explains that Mon-El is still alive because biology is so close to that of Kryptonians. And afterwards, Eliza tells Alex that she actually knows that Alex is gay because, she hears that Alex talks about Maggie a lot. And I really like this scene, a nice change of pace, with people coming out as gay. She actually does accept her. She says she loves her no matter what, and rarely, a lot of shows, especially shows on the CW, you would see a lot of, they're not accepting, or they don't really like what they're doing, or things like that. So I like that she actually was accepting of Alex here. She said, look, I understand, I understand why you are this way. I completely, support you, and I thought it was nice to see her actually support Alex here. I really did like that overall, and it's kind of similar to what we dealt with last year with Alex saying that Eliza didn't care about her as much because she always cared about Kara more, but you really just show how far these two have come. I really did like that, and even though we've only seen 2 appearances from Eliza, they've done a really good job at showing Eliza's character. I wish we did see more of her, because I really do like the actress. I think her and Alex always work really well together. Like, their scenes just pop really, really well. But I did really like what we got from these two. I thought the stuff we got with them here was really nice. And it was good to see Eliza one more time before, the second half of the season. I don't know if we're going to see her again this season, but hopefully we do. But Kara admits to John that she's upset that her parents worked on Project Medusa, because, of course, they kept this from her, and she had no idea if that's what was going on, and that their legacy is one of death and destruction, because she's always supported her parents. She's always supported Jeremiah, and she's always supported Eliza, but now realizing that they've been working on Project Medusa this whole time, obviously, Kara's not really happy about it, and John says that Kara is her parents' legacy, but then starts to transform into a white Martian, and this is very interesting. John warns Kara not to tell anyone until after they've stopped Cadmus, and just then, Alex and Eliza realize that Cadmus needs an experimental isotope from L-Corp in order to weaponize the virus, and sure enough, Cyborg Superman arrives at Cadmus to take the isotope, but Supergirl shows up in time to fight him, and in the subsequent battle, Cyborg Superman tries to kill Lina and injures Maggie, but Supergirl manages to keep Cyborg Superman from stealing the isotope, which I thought this was a pretty well done scene, honestly. Very intense stuff there. I really did like this overall, and I will definitely say, the action in this episode definitely did feel like a mid-season finale. Like, they did a good job with that, but in the aftermath, John and Wynn get Supergirl to talk to Lina about her mother. However, Lina really does not take the news well. She accused Supergirl of continuing Superman's witch hunt against the Luthors, because as we know, Superman is very against them, and Lina feels that that's all she's doing, and Supergirl tells Lina that she's not like her mother, but Lina kicks Supergirl out of her office, and I like that right now Kara's trusting her. Like, Kara says, look, you're not like your mother. I understand, that you are a good person. But Lina just feels that she's spying on her. So she kicks her out, and I thought they did a good job of getting us to see both viewpoints there. That's something they've done really well all season, is that no character has really come across as, something outrageous or some outlandish reason. They've given very good viewpoints, and I think that's something that this season just in general has done really, really well. So Alex patches Maggie up, thanks her for leading her down a path to being more comfortable for who she is, and it's a really nice scene, because as we know, Maggie told her to go out, be gay, learn what that's all about, and I think this was a really nice scene the way that was done. But Mon-El luckily does wake up. He misses Supergirl that lies that thinks that he's dying, and Supergirl misses Mon-El that Medusa is her family's fault. But Mon-El actually kisses Supergirl after saying that she's absolutely beautiful, and he actually does seem to have a crush on her. I don't know. I'm still very unsure if I want these two to have a relationship. I've always seen them more as brother and sister. Like, through these 7 episodes, they've never really felt like a couple to me. They felt more like brother and sister. I'm hoping this is something where he likes her and she doesn't really like him back. I'm hoping it's something like that. I don't want drama with that, but I'm hoping it's something that's debunked very quickly. And, he says that she's absolutely beautiful and she carries the weight of the world on her shoulder. It was a very sweet scene. I did really like it overall. I just don't really know if I'm okay with these two dating. I'm hoping that they don't end up dating because, again, I just see them more as brother and sister. I don't really see them as boyfriend and girlfriend. But that could be me. Maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe the show will sell me on their relationship. But for right now, I just am not really seeing it. But Lena confronts Lillian about Cadmus, but then gives her the experimental isotope, and Lena says that all Lillian had to do was ask for her help, and then maybe she didn't know her daughter as well as she thought, and I like the way that Lena is getting into Lillian's head here. I really like that. And Wynn figures out that Cadmus has the virus and is taking to the port to release Medusa. Supergirl tries to stop John from accompanying her to the port, but John wants to go out as a hero instead of an alien freak show, because he wants people to know that he's a good guy. He's not Cyborg Superman, and Supergirl and John arrive at the port just as Lena fires a weaponized Medusa in a missile at National City, and Supergirl races after the missile while John fights Henshaw, and John transforms to a hybrid green-white Martian. He gets the upper hand on Henshaw, but Supergirl fails to stop the missile from exploding. However, when the Medusa virus spreads of National City, neither John nor any of the aliens actually die, and Lillian realizes that Lena betrayed her by switching out the isotope just as the police arrive, which, that was awesome. I loved the way this was done. I love the way that Lena infiltrated Lillian. I love the way that she completely went against everything that Lillian wanted. It just shows that we can trust Lena, and there's no more of can we trust her. Like, I wouldn't want an entire season of can we trust her. I like that we see that we can, in fact, trust her right now. I thought that was an awesome scene, and I really did love where that's go. I really did love seeing that we can, in fact, trust Lena. I've wanted to trust her all season, and I'm glad to see that right now it seems like we can, in fact, trust her. So I really did like that overall. I definitely like seeing Lena this season, and I like how different she is from the other Luthers. And I'm hoping that Lillian does stay as the villain, because again, like I said, Supergirl does not do the greatest job when it comes to their villains, but they've done a better job this season of developing this mother-daughter relationship, especially between Lena and Lillian. I think they developed it really well, and I'm hoping that we continue more of this throughout the season, because I really do like where this is going right now. So in the depths of space, a group of aliens are looking for Mon-El, promise to destroy any planet that gets in their way. We don't really know what this is about, but meanwhile, Eliza ends up curing Mon-El, says that she used the Medusa virus to reverse John's white Martian blood poisoning, and Kara asks if Mon-El wants to talk about what happened to their kiss, but Mon-El claims ignorance about the whole thing, so Kara doesn't press any further. So we don't know if this actually was, what Mon-El wanted to do, or if this was just Medusa getting into his head. Right now, it seems like he doesn't really want to talk about it, so I'm interested in seeing really where this is going. I'm a little bit worried as to where this is going, because again, I've liked Kara and Mon-El's dynamic so far as just, trainee, and you just like, mentor and alien. I've liked that this season, but I just don't really know if I want a relationship. And then we get another scene that I don't really know if I needed, but Maggie shows up at Alex's apartment, says that almost dying gave her perspective, and finally, after literally 2 episodes, she actually does kiss Alex and basically is ready to let her into her life, and I thought it was a nice scene. I like seeing that Maggie let Alex in, but what happened to letting Alex learn who she is first and then giving a relationship? I get that she almost died, but that just didn't really make a ton of sense to me. I don't really know why they rushed this so quickly. CW tends to do that a lot, and I was hoping they wouldn't do that here. But this is probably the first time this season that they really did kind of rush the way this went. But then we get to the end of the episode, which is pretty much everything that everyone was waiting for. Finally, we get some insight in the crossover. Barry and Cisco finally jump out of the interdimensional portal in Kara's apartment just as Kara walks in. And the episode ends with Barry and Kara. I love the little banter between those two. I've always found it very funny. And the episode ends with Barry asking Kara's help with a problem. And Kara immediately replies who they're going to fight. And then we see to be continued in the Flash. And that is the way this episode ends overall. Really good episode, but let's just get into this episode where I think the crossover is going to go, and then where I think the rest of the season is going to go. So overall, I did think this was a really good mid-season finale. There were a couple things I'm a little bit worried about, but I do really like where we're headed right now with Lillian and with Lena, with her now going against her mother, Lillian not having as much power against her. I really am very interested in seeing where this is going. I'm a bit worried that Lillian's not going to be our villain this season, but I'm hoping that she is, because especially if we're going into a Luther-type conflict, I think overall it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. And I could very well see how Superman comes back into the story, because I feel like he is going to make another appearance this season. I mean, Tyler Hoechlin was praised so much throughout those first 2 episodes that I can't imagine that he's not going to be in this season more. Like, he has to be in it more, definitely. But we'll have to see. Let's talk about tomorrow night's crossover, because we didn't really get a ton of it in this episode. I will admit that I did want a little bit more, like maybe just 2 or 3 minutes more of Barry and Cisco. Them showing Kara what's going on, hearing at least about the Dominators, something to get us excited about, because they did leave us on a pretty good cliffhanger for the crossover tomorrow, for the crossover tomorrow night, but I just felt like we could have gotten a little bit more going on there, definitely. But I feel like we're gonna find out everything on the Flash. I already heard that the crossover is really well done, so I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow night's crossover. I think it's gonna be something really great. Definitely, I think it's going to be a really well-done crossover. I'm worried it's going to be a little bit overstuffed because there's a lot going on, but we'll have to see either way. I think it's going to be interesting. And I understand why Supergirl didn't really focus on the crossover, because as we know, she is in fact from another Earth, so she's not really affected by the events of what is probably going down in, Barry and Oliver's Earth. She's not going to be affected by that. And I already heard that after the crossover, she's not really going to be affected in general, so we'll have to see where that's going to go. I'm looking forward to seeing the way she's integrated into that, because I feel like she's going to fit in really, really well. And I heard that Alex and, well, from the preview at least, looks like Alex and John are going to be there as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing the way that all goes down. Either way, as an episode, besides the crossover, as an episode, I really did enjoy this mid-season finale overall. I'm a little bit worried where Mon-El and Kara are going. I'm hoping that this isn't a relationship-type scenario. I want to see these two more as friends or as brother-sister dynamic. I think it's been fun to watch them all season, and I really don't want it to change, but either way, we'll have to see where that's going to go, because I think that's definitely going to be very interesting as to where Mon-El and Kara end up going. I'm hoping that he does remember, like, he's not trying to, like, I'm hoping he doesn't remember. He's not just trying to forget it ever happened. Like, he is, in fact, he didn't remember or whatever, so, because I think it'd be interesting if we do go in that angle. But the question is, does Kara really reciprocate these feelings? I don't really think so, but we'll have to see. Right now, it doesn't seem like she does, but who knows? Again, they could get me to buy these two in a relationship. Right now, just the way they've shown them for the first half of the season, I don't really buy it. But again, Mon-El's only been in 5 episodes so far, so I can't really, get too upset for that right now, because I can't really get too upset, because again, he's literally only been in 5 episodes. But either way, I'm really interested in seeing where their whole storyline's going to go. And then Maggie and Alex, I don't know why we're really rushing this. I feel like they didn't really need to rush this as quick as they did. I understand people really want Maggie and Alex together. In fact, that's pretty much everyone has been talking about is Alex's arc, because I will admit that has definitely been one of the strongest things about this season, is how much more interesting of a character Alex is this season, because I feel like they've given her a lot more to do. And I have really liked where Alex and Maggie are headed. I just don't really know if we need to put them in a relationship just yet. Now is not really the time to do that. But we'll have to see really what's going to happen there. I think that definitely is going to be very interesting. But as a season, guys, I really have loved this season. At the end of the day, this is a very surprising season 2. I never expected to say Supergirl is my favorite of the 4, but right now it kind of is. I really do love Supergirl this season. This has been a very strong first half of the season so far. I really have enjoyed it. I think out of all 4 of the DCU shows, this is the most confident, definitely. Like, Arrow definitely is good, but Arrow's still trying to make up for all the damage of last season. You definitely do see that. Flash is a mess right now. Like, Flash was really good last episode, but it's been a mess all season. And Legends, you never really know what you're going to get. Like, Legends is just so different every episode. Supergirl's the most confident by far, though. I'm really have been loving this season so far. And I don't want to, I might grade the first half of the season, I don't know, I was thinking about grading it, but again, it's only been 8 episodes, so I can't really grade a first half of the season. If I did, it'd be a 4 out of 5 or a B+, but I can't really grade it right now. But as it stands, guys, I've really enjoyed this season so far. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Love to your thoughts on it. Have you enjoyed this season? I really have. I was surprised to see this was the mid-season finale. I at least wanted one more episode. But either way, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the mid-season finale and what you've thought of this season so far. Are you looking forward to the crossover? I know I definitely am hyped out of my mind for the crossover tomorrow. I'm sure it is going to be all kinds of epic. I'm real looking forward to it. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the first half of the season, Jane the Virgin, because apparently that ends tonight too. Way to notify us, CW. I don't know why these shows are ending so early, but either way, I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.